need to stop letting y'all record at their concerts. Because what the hell, why is it every clip that I see, they look a hot ass mess. Even when they're quote unquote put together, it still be giving like high school talent show. And the fact that y'all paid to see that, like I'm confused. But yeah, the clips of them just so out of sync and uncoordinated, and like you're already lip syncing. Like being coordinated is the least you could do in hitting the marks. I actually can't.
Alright friends, let's run through a couple of legitimate criticisms of BLACKPINK because we keep things fair and equal on this channel, do we not? So one of their main weak points would definitely be their choreography. They've never been a group that's going to like wow you with the difficulty level or the intricacy of their choreography or how they're moving together as one on stage. If we're comparing them to every other K-pop girl group that's ever existed, I would say that BLACKPINK is sort of like mid-level in terms of their choreography. For me, their most interesting choreo is actually Don't Know What to Do from their early days, but it still sort of pales in comparison to what like Twice has done, for example, and it definitely pales in comparison to what these 4th and 5th gen groups are doing now, who have definitely taken things to the next level. But what I will say is for what they are lacking in sort of like difficult and intricate choreo, they definitely have a number of iconic choreos to their name. Moves that sort of everyone in the K-pop universe knows, that are recognizable, you know, let's kill this love, right? That are iconic. Kill this love, how you like that, etc. That definitely counts for a lot, and that is a big part of like the genius of YG's branding and packaging for BLACKPINK. But all that segues into my next point, which is like individually speaking, outside of Lisa, they're not super strong dancers. Especially if, again, we're comparing them to like these 4th or 5th gen groups, which seem to be made up of like all professional dancers, like the Les Seraphims and Cat's Eyes of the world, who are just insane, taking things to the next level. But for where they sit in 3rd gen as dancers, they definitely hold a candle to other groups, right? They hold a candle to the Red Velvets and the Twices of the world, even though Twice does much more intricate and exciting choreography, in my opinion. But if you're going to compare the Pinks to, you know, members of Cat's Eye, members of Le Sserafim, there's a definite skill gap there. But I digress. So for my third and final point, and I've said this before on my page, I think for certain performances, especially solo performances, the girls rely on backing vocals too much. I'm all for idols singing with a backtrack when they're doing like hard, continuous choreo, but in terms of BLACKPINK, Rosanne is really the only one who seems comfortable going out there and just like letting it rip. And I do wish that the other 3 girls took more opportunities to sort of go out there and sing with just raw and live vocals. In the 2 times that I've seen BLACKPINK perform live, their voices have sounded really good. Again, I think their vocal mix is what sets them apart as a group and what is really their superpower. And for this next tour, I'm hoping for more of the same.
BLACKPINK looked like they had way more fun performing their own songs than performing the group songs on tour. Let's get into it. Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome back. So if you don't know, BLACKPINK went on tour. They just started their BLACKPINK tour. And yeah, they're back formulated as a group, even though their album has not dropped yet. And there's no kind of reason for them to go on tour because they all just went solo. But on the tour, they were able to perform their own songs. So they all kind of had their own sets in between the full BLACKPINK set. And they just look like they were having way more fun performing their own songs than performing the group songs. Like that, I think they like being a group. I think they've grown fond of like each other and, you know, being around each other, and they're so used to making music together. But if we're being very for real, they did not want to perform together. They didn't. They looked a little sloppy. I've never seen BLACKPINK look so sloppy. I've also never seen them look so much as individuals. And I think that's the main key here. They all look like individuals now rather than a group. I think of them all as individuals. I don't think of them as a group. Not at all. Especially because Rosé and Jennie on their own have created such an identity. I think it's very important that they're able to grow in their identity. I understand they're doing what Destiny's Child did back in the day, where they let them all release their own shit and then come back and then make an album and then go on tour. Not you, oh, we're going to put the group back together, we're going to announce some tour dates, but we're going to drop an album in like a couple months. So here's a little track to sit on, a little snippet at the motherfucking tour. And we're going to use that and we're going to carry on. No. And really, if we watching their performances, they didn't give a fuck about that track. They didn't care. So right now, I'm not seeing a reason for BLACKPINK to be on tour. I am waiting for the album because, you know, why not? But they don't look like they want to be there.
Lisa's team is setting her up for failure when they are trying to market her as a rapper. She is not a rapper. We all know that. If you're a K-pop fan, K-pop rap, it's not I don't think it translates very well to the Western audience. I wish she stuck with the pop route, and the reason why I say that is, Lisa, I've been watching her, and, I used to stand her back in, 2016 all the way to, 2022, and, watching her interviews and stuff as, her career has progressed. She's very cookie cutter, she's very clean cut, she's probably had a lot of good media training from YG Entertainment. She's a socialite. She's a rich girl from Thailand. Why are you marketing her as this hard ass that is a rapper? I think they're trying to do this whole Doja Cat thing where, you know how Doja Cat is a rapper and she's also a singer? Yeah, that's not gonna work for her in the long run. It's really not. That's why I personally enjoy her album, but it's not enjoyable when knowing that, they're trying to market her as this rapper. Honestly, she might just end up like Iggy Azalea and just, becomes this pretty girl who sometimes raps. And I fear that might be the route for her if she doesn't stop, rapping.
I just want to quickly weigh in on this lazy Jenny debate before I go to work. I understand the expectation of K-pop artists because we look at other K-pop artists and we see them doing the most and we think that's what all K-pop artists should do. But in reality, not all artists shake their ass so hard they cause an earthquake. That's quite rare for an artist. And you don't need to do that to be successful. You don't even need to do that to be a K-pop artist. I think we put really high expectations on K-pop artists, on international artists. Actually, no, on artists that aren't white in general. We put crazy expectations on them. And we really need to think about why it is we expect them to do the most in order to be successful when you've got white artists like Taylor Swift or even male artists like Coldplay, One Direction, Ed Sheeran, who can just stand there with a guitar or just stand there and sing, and that's fine.
Let me start off by saying I think Lisa is a phenomenal dancer and her fashion is amazing. Obviously now she's like, in my opinion, one of the best dressed girls in BLACKPINK, hands down. But I think we still need to talk about some of her outfit choices at some of these concerts. Cause why is she one gust of wind away from everyone seeing her pretty pink hole? And don't get me wrong, for the people who are saying, oh my gosh, she's old enough, she's a grown up. Yeah, that is true. But why is it okay for you to only be having a little slit of fabric, saving you? You know what I mean? One gust of wind, one innocent hand placement, it's over with. Everyone's gonna see that. I think also what we need to talk about is the place that she's wearing this at. It's at a concert. This is not Crazy Horse or whatever it's called. At Crazy Horse, I literally was like, yeah, girl, eat the outfit down. Eat it down. But here it's oh, it's a concert. And then you're doing that move where you kind of do a split move in front of a whole crowd. And it's why are you wearing something that is not really protecting you from in case something bad happens? There's a reason why safety shorts is a must in the K-pop community. Also, her career path is literally filled with pedophiles. Not even just pedophiles, predators in general. I remember when BLACKPINK, it was at a concert, somebody threw a bear on stage, right? And I think it was during Do era, I'm trying to remember it. And she picked up the bear and she threw it off stage, right? Okay, that's because she knew that most of the time in those teddy bears, people would put cameras in there, and then the girls or whoever, the K-pop idols, would take the teddy bear home, and then they would the people who gave them the teddy bear would stalk them through the teddy bear because they had put cameras in there, right? It was a rise in that. Given that she was in the K-pop industry during that time, and it's getting worse, people just don't talk about it, but the stalking and everything is getting way worse. It almost makes me question, why would she compromise herself on stage like that? People would just want to see more than a thigh, you know what I mean? And now it's just she's giving them almost her entire coochie. And it's girl, you're not even trying to protect yourself. And I think the fans who are telling her girl, you need to dress better. You have millions of dollars and you act like you can't afford a good short set that goes with that outfit. You can. And we're not just I'm not going to get mad, or the fans are not getting mad if it's a little short, it's booty shorts. No, she had on something that was an inch away from being a thong on stage at a concert. Come on now. Come on. We got to do better.
This is my hot take and conspiracy theory about Jennie from BLACKPINK. Obviously she's performing poorly on purpose, right? Her live performances have been really lackluster, and I'm sure that she's contractually obligated not to speak poorly about her experience with her company. She's contractually obligated not to leave the group, right? And so her live performances are the one way that she can express that her company can't necessarily control. It's the only form of protest that she has in this situation. And I don't think it's because she's ungrateful. or that she thinks she's too good for the other members of the group anymore. I think she's tired. She's been criticized for years. Every woman in the K-pop industry is constantly criticized. And so this is her one way of expressing her, displeasure. And so maybe we should be a little kinder and more empathetic about her situation.